Peace, guys. Want to drop this one real quick. I might do a part 2 on this because I don't know how long I'll be doing this video or this topic for this video in particular for however long, but I'm going to try to cover as much as I can. But if I feel like I cover enough with this subject, I guess it'll be the only one for that time being. So anyway, this is about, ups and downs and basically how to deal with them. Ups and downs and how to deal with them. So what do I mean by ups and downs? What I mean is your emotional stability as far as ups and downs. Like one day you're feeling good, you're feeling happy, everything seems to be in order, everything is coming into play and everything is just kind of working out in your favor. And I'm not here to knock that or to diss that. If everything's working out in your day-to-day life for let's say one day, and then, ups and downs, right? So everything's going great one day, and then the following day, everything kind of crashes down. It's the opposite. And some might say that this is something to do with bipolarity. And let me just address this real quick. I'm not a healthcare professional as far as, especially in regards to psychology and, the neurochemical workings of your mind and your brain and the neurological functions of how that affects your mind, your thoughts, and your emotions. So if you do have problems, I highly suggest you seek professional help. You call a hotline for someone for you to speak to on the phone, or you go get help from a doctor or a psychologist or psychiatrist. You seek someone that you can speak to, even if it's a close friend or a family, because mental health is important. And so with that being said, ups and downs, we all have ups and downs in life. And so, whether it's outside of us or within us, and I don't want to get into the whole little issue about like, oh, well, if it's happening outside of me and I have troubles outside of myself, then didn't I just create those things? Perhaps so, but not necessarily, because you have to also understand that life is just life and things just happen no matter what. A lot of times it's just a matter of how you deal with it. But for this video, I want to be able to help people who are going through their ups and downs, emotionally. And if it happens to resonate with you on an emotional standpoint, that you are in trouble, or not trouble, but you are feeling lonesome or upset or hurt, or you're depressed, if this video happens to help you in any way, shape, or form, I am glad that I'm able to provide some form of help or relief. But I still must say, if your mental issues are serious and are heavy, you should seek professional help. Call someone or get in touch with someone you can speak to that you feel absolutely comfortable with, because those things get heavier over time and they get worse. So anyway, with ups and downs on an emotional standpoint and how to deal with them, what I mean by that is, if I'm able to help people who are going through this, especially on a spiritual journey, everything can be a spiritual journey in essence, but what I'm trying to say is, basically, when you're having a lot of ups and downs, to really simplify the video, I could just say that your ups and downs can be dealt with consistency. That's one way that I believe that your ups and downs can be dealt with, because when you're feeling good and you're feeling a certain way and you're feeling uplifted, it's like a pendulum swing, with one direction the pendulum swings to, it's just on its way to go back to the opposite side. When it goes on this side, it's just on its way to go back to the other side. So you can pretty much have this understanding or expect that when you have such good days where everything is just all handy dandy and good and jolly, you best believe that there's a good chance that all that is going to come to a crash later and you'll get depressed and upset. And again, I'm targeting people specifically who might be going through this, which might be considered like bipolarity, which it might be. So, but maybe not so much depending on the situation or the person, because on a spiritual aspect, again, I speak from my experience with these videos that I speak on. So with your ups and downs, one key thing is consistency, because as you're experiencing like your ups and your downs and your ups and your downs and your ups and your downs and your ups and your downs, it's like testing your consistency with your emotional stability, because you're constantly being swayed left and right and all these different directions. You're not consistent, you're not grounded or stable. you're constantly just swayed so easily to the right or to the left or whichever direction in your video or in your screen, like left or right or whatever. You know, you're not stable, you're not grounded, therefore you have no stability. So consistency goes hand in hand with stability. You know, find why you're feeling that way. It's always good to seek within yourself what you're going through or why. And so as far as, you know, your ups and downs and how to deal with them, I would say you're probably on a spiritual path and you're probably making some changes, whether you realize it or not. You're already kind of growing and going through an evolution or a phase of growth. Because what I want to be more particular with in this video is the best time for you to find clarity and to fix problems, and the best time for you to really get down to the nitty gritty and really get down to some things is when you have are the times when you have your downs. Because when you have your downs, you're depressed and you're sad, you're not feeling good, you're not uplifted, you're not energetic. So as far as energy is concerned, because emotions, energy and motion, so when you're having your downs and you're sad and you're depressed and you're unhappy and you're not energetic, you lack energy, you're just really low and slow, think of that as a time for you to find clarity within your human experience and your life. That's your chance to really think things through and figure things out, because you're not moving at such a fast pace. You're not moving so fast to where you're not in control anymore. Your momentum is really slow. That's why you're feeling depressed or sad, because in essence you're just in a slow vibration and you're moving slow. You're not energetic, you're not feeling good. And so sometimes you might be identifying that with, you know, your so-called bipolarity or depression. And again, seek help if it's serious and you absolutely are like at a point where you're like maybe harming yourself, or you're just not well, you're not doing good, and it's starting to affect important aspects of your life. You should seek help, seriously. You know, and I hope the best for you. But if my video helps, then that's I'm honored, you know. But help is important. We all need help. We all need to understand the importance of mental health. And so, yes, the downs of your life are the times where you have the best opportunity to make changes or figure out what you got to do next, and how to make those changes, or how to figure things out, how to configure things and really get down to what's going on, because you're at a energy wise, you're at a slow paced momentum. And so that's a chance for you to initially, you know, receive your downloads from spirit or the cosmos or the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. That's how you get your light codes. You know, look it up. Spiritually, your spiritual light codes, that's how you receive them, is by being at a momentum of being really slow, or at a pace of being slow, because you're not moving so fast where you're out of control. Because when you move too fast, what happens is you tend to be out of control, right? You're moving way too fast. But when you've slowed down, you're kind of at a pace where, you know, spirits and your intuition and your guides, your spirit guides, God, universe, whatever you may wish to call it, that's the best time for them to contact you. That's the best time for you to really learn and understand and figure things out, is when you're having your downs, when you're sad and you're depressed and you're not really feeling all that good. So instead of identifying with your emotions, because identifying with your emotions is what tends to make things, I wouldn't say worse, but identifying with your emotions, identifying who you are with your emotions, is what tends to magnetize or make bigger, I should say. I can't really think of a good term right now, but identifying yourself with your emotions happens to be what makes those emotions bigger. They enlarge them in essence. So sometimes they may even enlarge them out of proportion. So you just have to kind of understand why you're feeling what you're feeling, why you're going through what you're going through. You know, figure things out when you're having your downs. You know, I mean, life is just full of ups and downs in general. That's just the ebbs and flows of this earth plane and being a human. As far as emotions, it's not really within our control. What we have control of is how we react and how we respond to things. But as far as the outside world and what happens, life will be life. It is what it is. People will be people. That's not within our control, and it's not our responsibility. It's our responsibility how we respond and react to things, and how we respond and how we deal with them when we come face to face with them. That's what's important. Just to control what's within, not what really is on the outside. Because controlling what's within controls the outside in turn. So your ups and downs, consistency, because your consistency to be stable is what's important, because you shouldn't be constantly swayed left and right by your emotions or by the circumstances or situations of your life, because like I just said, those things are not really in your control in essence, not at first anyway. So you have to have a stable sense of your emotions and who you are, and a good sense of being and being grounded. So it's okay to have your ups, to have your joy. Of course, that's like the fruit of life, is to be happy, joyous, excited, and filled with, bliss and happiness and enjoyment and fun. But just don't, when you have your downs, just think of that as your time to really figure things out. Because in essence, that's really your constant ups and downs is reflecting your inconsistency with yourself. It's also reflecting your lack of stability, your inability to be grounded and to be stable. And so it's just good to be neutral at all times. Just don't get so attached to your emotions, and definitely you don't want to be identifying with your emotions. Like, I'm feeling sad, I must be depressed. I must be depressed because I'm bipolar, and I'm bipolar because I got mental problems, and I must be a psychopath, I must be crazy, blah 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 blah. Like, don't be identifying with your emotions. Just try to figure out why you're feeling those things. And like I said, the best advice I feel like I can give with this video for right now is, how to deal with your ups and downs, as far as, understanding that your downs are your chances in your life to figure things out, because you're at a slow pace. You're at a slow pace and slow momentum. And that's your chance to really, that's when your ears are open, and that's when you can receive your light codes and you can get better insight. Because when you're moving fast, you're kind of distracted because you're so up there. Everything is just moving real fast. Everything's feeling right. You're distracted by like the movements of life and everything that's going on around you. But once you've slowed down, that's your chance to, I guess, meditate through it and just think and figure things out. Rather than spending that time being down in the dumps, spend that time like studying yourself and studying your mind and what ticks you and how to really figure things out, and being consistent with your stability, staying grounded, remaining grounded. And that's pretty much all I can think of for right now. I won't have much else to say. If I have more to add, like I said, like I always say, I'll also do a part 2 for this topic in particular, or any video really. So for this video in particular, if I come up with more ideas to add on later, I'll try to do a part 2. And so with that being said, guys, not much else for me to say. Just remember to be stable, to have your stability, and your downs are really a chance for you to figure things out and think things through, because you're at a slower momentum, your energy's slower. That's your chance to really listen to yourself, listen to the inner voice within you. Your intuitive answers are more active, and they're louder. Your spirits and your intuition and the energy within you speaks louder to give you the answers that you're seeking when everything's slowed down and quiet. You know, that's your chance to figure things out and think things through. You know, so don't identify with your emotions. Just try to figure them out, why they're there or how they got there, and what you can do to just evolve. Because you're on a spiritual tip, you're evolving. That's why you're having such ups and downs, especially when you have that awareness to really understand. Like the fact that you're even catching the pattern of power of awareness. Oh my God, I keep saying that. When you're aware or you have that awareness to even come to the realization that you're having ups and downs, that's you evolving, because now you're moving on to the next plateau or the next level of who you are as a spiritual being, and becoming the greater version of yourself. The fact that you're noticing things in your life, you're having that power of awareness about aspects of your life or who you are, means there's a change coming. There's a change that's on its way. There's an oncoming change that's about to happen, because you're noticing things. You're noticing certain patterns that were never changing but are now changing, including noticing your ups and downs. You're not just stuck in that cycle, because having your ups and downs, your constant ups and downs, that's a cycle too. Your constant ups and downs, that's also a cycle as well. That's a cycle too, you know. Like constantly feeling one way the other day, and then the next day you're feeling different. The following day you're feeling this way again. The following day you're feeling this way again. It's a cycle. Like you're in a that's why it's called limbo, or a cycle. Cycle and circle is the same word. It's circular. You're not getting out of that circle. It's infinite. You're forever like that. Therefore never changing, because you're in a cycle or circle, which is infinite. Therefore you're never changing. It's never changing because it's just in a loop, limbo. Once you have that awareness, you can break out of that circle and really like figure out like what the hell is going on here. Like, why am I noticing or doing the same thing every day? Like, your awareness is key. And so, with that being said, peace.